Thank you, Chairman, and thank you everyone for attending today. The area I want to look at, if I may, is the charitable lottery scheme, and I'd just like to get a rundown of that scheme, if I may, and how it works in practice. And I'll be basing some of my questions off the internal audit that was done by the Department of Justice in 2012. Just to be clear on how the scheme works, you get an amount of funding from the department based on your level of sales of tickets. And so in a given year, say taking 2010, 2011, you had somewhere just under 4 million euro of sales. And that's sales by newsagents.
Through our distributors. John,
Yeah.
do you want to come in on this?
Yeah, the only sales of our total lottery sales which qualify for assistance under the Charitable Lotteries Compensation Scheme are the products which are competing directly with the National Lottery. And in our application, we have to give proof of how those games are similar. So you're down to, well, is it like a scratch card or is it sold through retail?
Scratch card, because that's sold through newsagents, through retailers.
Yes.
So when we get a figure of, say, 3.9 million scratch cards sold, they're sold through newsagents. That figure is 3.9 million sold in the newsagents.
Yes.
Is that correct? Okay. And in return from the department, you get match funding based on that level of sales in newsagents.
Well, the Charitable Lotteries Fund is a finite amount each year, and the department distributes the total finite amount among all the applicants based on, really on their market share. So
On the level of sales?
Yeah.
So the higher level of sales,
Yeah.
the more funding you're going to get from the department. Okay.
The logic here, Deputy, is the bigger you are, the more damage and hurt you're experiencing from the National Lottery, so hence the compensation.
I understand why the scheme's in place.
Yeah.
So essentially then, for about just under 4 million euro of sales from the department, you were getting in the region, say in 2011, 4 million euro then from the department, which came across through that scheme.
Not quite right, because the total payment is based on both the scratch cards and the radio bingo products, so the total sales would have been in that year somewhere, I have the exact figure here, but it's around 7 million.
Okay, but for the scratch card portion, it would have been around 3.9 million.
Yeah, the scratch card portion was 3.969, and the radio bingo were 3.190.
So it's almost equal funding. It's almost like for like with the scratch cards, if you sell.
No, the funding is for the total amount against the 7 million.
You had
We don't
3.9
get
million in sales of scratch cards. What money came across from the department?
In that year,
Yeah, 2011.
don't have the exact figure here, but it was.
Sorry, Chairman, the figure is 3.9 million.
From the department for the scratch card
In
sales.
that was what the payout under the fund in 2011 was 3.9
The
million.
total payout, and that also included in the bingo.
To Rehab.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, just to clarify.
The total payout was 6 million altogether, but Rehab got 3.9 million in 2011.
Sorry, and the 3.9 million covered scratch card sales and the bingo card sales.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Thank you for the clarification. I just want to understand how this scheme works then, in terms of how you actually, the newsagents come to make the sales of this amount. You sell in batches of tickets to a newsagent, and they pay you a cost price for that. So you would sell, say, a batch of 200 cards to a newsagent. Those cards would sell for 200 euro, and the newsagent would pay you what figure for that batch?
Well, taking the example of 200 tickets at €2, that's 400 euro.
Tickets at €1.
200 at €1, that's
Yeah.
200 euro. And so what we take off that, off the top, is the retailer's commission, so they keep that. And this is where it gets a little bit complicated to explain. But when you're printing tickets like these, there are two types of prizes in the ticket. So they're what we call low-end prizes and high-end prizes. And in each pack, it's like, if you like, a promise. We give a guaranteed amount of low-end prizes. So say on the €100, there might be, say, €44 in guarantee prices. So
Stop you for a second, Mr. Maguire, sorry, because I want to try and talk you through it as I understand it. Maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong. And I've seen the scratch cards, thank you. I don't need to see them again. The newsagent pays you up front for that batch of 200 tickets.
No.
You don't invoice him for that, separate from commission.
We do, but he doesn't pay up front. He doesn't pay in advance before he sells them. Because
But separate from
we
the
give
commission,
credit.
separate from the commission that he takes, you charge a fee for that batch because he's responsible for managing €200 in sales of those scratch cards.
Well, in very simple terms, we invoice him for the gross value less his or her commission, less the value of the low-end prizes, and they don't pay for them up front because we give them credit to allow them time to sell the tickets.
So what would be the typical amount for that gross invoice?
Well, roughly, if you take the gross value as 100 less 12.5% less, maybe on the low-end prizes, there might be 40. So typically, maybe we get a net income maybe of €40 for that pack.
Because as it was explained to me, and I'll explain that to you, is that the newsagent is responsible for selling the €200 individual scratch cards. They take a commission on that, which is, I think you said, 12%, 12.5%.
12.5 or 10% if you're a cash customer.
But as you said, there's two ends of the prizes here. So after they've paid back something in the region of, this newsagent in the particular example they gave to me was €65.50 to Rehab. They take a commission additional to that. And then the remaining money they use to pay out the individuals who come to them who've won prizes at the low end of the market. Anything under €20, they're paying out in their shop. Is that how that operates? So the €200 in sales is not going back to Rehab. Only a percentage of that goes, and it's roughly about 30%.
In very rough terms.
Yes. Okay. And that's how, when we look at something like €4 million in sales, we see only €10,000 in profit, after we've taken into, of course, the costs of running the scheme. Okay. So it's not really €4 million in sales by Rehab, is it? Your sales are your sales directly to the newsagents. Because 70% of that money is actually being managed by the newsagents, and they are making the sales, and they are paying out the winners.
Yes.
Your true sales figure is the money you actually get back from the newsagents.
You could say that's our net income from the sales, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So why are you recording it as 4 million sales to the department?
Because those tickets that are issued under a license granted by the courts, and the owner,